cost per person will go down.
Right,
People will be paying less for healthcare. But it's not a takeover.
The nub of the criticism, though, is that this is a question of competency. And straight out of the gate.
Boy, 2 follow-up questions.
How do you reassure the public that the party whose ticket you are running on can do this and do this successfully in the states ahead? Nevada is already saying when it comes to their caucuses, they're short of volunteers. Our campaign reporter says they're short 1,000 caucus chairs, and they might have to even hold 2 caucuses at once. This doesn't look efficient.
Well, all right, that may well be the case, but let's get back to the United States government. I'm not the chair of the Nevada Democratic Party.
Now, let's remember what economist Thomas Sowell said about the difference between socialism and fascism.
No, not technically, I suppose, because socialism usually means the government ownership of the means of production. The pattern he's following is much more like that of the fascists, where the government leaves the means of production in private hands, and the politicians tell them what to do. And that's much more politically viable, because after the government forces the private industry to do something, and it turns out disastrously, you can always haul the people from private industry up before congressional committees, denounce them on television and so forth, leaving out the fact that it was you who forced them to do what they did.
Now, I've told you that the minimum wage has racist origins. Unskilled blacks were, quote, taking jobs away from whites. And so in comes the minimum wage. And Milton Friedman famously said this:
I have often said that the most anti-Negro law on the books of this land is the minimum wage rate.
Because until the minimum wage came in and kept getting increased, the person more likely to be employed than virtually anybody else was a black teen. Now, progressive economists have long viewed the minimum wage as something that's desirable, even when they know unskilled people are going to lose their jobs. The labor commissioner to President Woodrow Wilson, his name is Royal Meeker. Here's what Royal Meeker, Princeton scholar, by the way, labor commissioner to Woodrow Wilson, said, quote, "It is much better to enact a minimum wage, even if it deprives these unfortunates of work. Better that the state should support the inefficient wholly and prevent the manipulation of the breed than subsidize incompetence, unthrift, enabling them to bring forth more of their kind," close quote. One economist named Frank Taussing, Taussing, said this: "How to deal with the unemployable? They should simply be stamped out." End of quote. He wrote that in a book called Principles of Economics, Volume 1. A.B. Wolfe wrote this in American Economic Review in 1917. "The inefficient entrepreneurs would be eliminated by the minimum wage. So would the ineffective workers. I am not disposed to waste much sympathy upon either class. There is no panacea that can save the incompetents except at the expense of normal people. They are a burden on society and on the producers wherever they are," end of quote.